Welcome back, everybody, to a very special episode of the Vinyl Vault. Today, we will be guessing each other's top 5 list of bands that start with the name The. So, there's a lot of misconceptions around certain bands. They say The before their name, but it's not actually in their name. So let's say an example, a really popular example of a band that starts with The would be The Beatles. That is in their actual name of the band. Now, there's a lot of people who say The, then insert band name here, but it's not actually part of their name. So the ones on this list have to be their official name consisting of The. Alright? And we have 5 of them. We're just going to do it in a similar format that you've seen before, where I guess her, she tells me if it's right, then she'll guess mine, then we'll move on to the next, say number 5 to number 4, 3, 2, 1, in that order. So who wants to go first?
I'll go first.
You want to guess mine? You're guessing mine?
Okay, so we're starting with 5, right?
Yeah.
So I guessed you number 5, The Smiths.
Check the records. It is The Smiths.
Really?
Yep, The Smiths at number 5.
That was the one I was like least sure of. I didn't know if that was
I'll tell you.
on your list.
Well, number 5 is the least desirable, but I actually I had them erased and re-put on like 4 times. I originally had them in the honorable mentions, where I was just going to mention them at the end, where I was like, because I do have an honorable mentions, but I was just going to mention them at the end as one that was really good, but didn't cut it or make the list. But then I was like, I think I was playing them today or something. I was like, nah. I was like, I love their albums too much. So yeah, The Smiths actually does make it on. Cool. I think Morrissey's too iconic. I think Johnny Marr's too iconic on the guitar to leave them off, and I just personally enjoy listening to them way more than the other band I had on there. So now I have to guess your number 5.
I made my list based off of my playlist of like most listened to. So I went through my playlist that I listened to like the most, and then whatever bands were in there, that's kind of how I based, because it was hard for me to pick my top 5.
Yeah,
that's how I based mine on.
Because like, what is the top 5? Is it like which one you like the most? Which one's the most iconic? So
yeah, like
for me, mostly mine was based on which one I listened to and enjoy the most. But now I have to guess your number 5.
Yeah.
And I also had The Smiths.
Mine's The Staves.
The Staves.
Remember I told you about The Staves?
You might hear me guessing them later.
Oh, really?
Oh, maybe. I don't know. We'll see. I can always change it.
The Staves is my number 5. They're like a low-key little folk. It's like these 3 sisters. They're into like folk, indie folk type of music, and they're from England. They're kind of like a low-key band, but I like them. They're pretty good.
Yeah, I remember you sort of getting into them a bit, or listening to them a lot recently.
That's my number 5.
All right, well, I'm off to a bad start. So you're
okay.
1 for 1. I am 0 for 1. So now you have to guess my number 4.
Yeah, I guessed your number 4, The Velvet Underground.
It's not. It's not The Velvet Underground. Very good band. Love them to death, but they're not my number 4. That doesn't mean they won't appear on this list at all. It just means they're not my number 4.
I'm not switching around.
But my number 4 is the Rolling Stones.
Oh.
The Rolling Stones I love way too much. I think they're too iconic of a band. Keith Richards, Mick Jagger.
Wasn't thinking that.
Yeah, so just basically because we've been exposed so much to the Rolling Stones, I think through radio and just pop culture in general. The Rolling Stones are always in our faces, and we all know their songs by heart. I think because they're that iconic, and we all can identify hundreds of their songs. For that reason, I'd say for the category, I would put Rolling Stones at 4. All right, so now I have to guess your number 4.
Yes.
And so mine, on here I had Velvet Underground. What is going on?
The Smashing Pumpkins.
Get that trash, that filth out of here. No, the Smashing Pumpkins?
Yeah.
All right.
They were on my list. Like this, I'm basing it off of my playlist.
Yeah, that's right.
My like most listened to songs. It was a whole playlist of songs I listened to like regularly, and Smashing Pumpkins was on there like 3 times.
Listen, I'm not slandering Smashing Pumpkins.
I was gonna say.
I think
they're great.
Siamese Dream is one of the best albums I've ever heard. Period.
Yeah.
And Melancholy and Infinite Sadness is also one of the best albums I've ever heard. I guess it was just a shock to me. I wasn't expecting that. Nor did I did consider them for my list, but I not once considered them for your list. So I'm 0 for 2. We're really struggling. So now you have to guess my number 3. I feel like I'm so predictable with my list. Figuring guess these.
I said your number 3 is the Beatles.
It is not the Beatles.
See, your top 3, I had a hard time like deciding where to put them.
No, it's not. I did
Okay.
use the
What
Beatles
was-
as the example. My number 3 is the Who.
Okay.
The Who.
Well,
It is the first band I've ever heard my entire life. Me and my brothers were raised on the Who since we were like 2 years old, and probably the most nostalgic band for me ever. I love them dearly. Yeah, albums like Tommy, Quadrophenia, Who's Next, Who Are You? Too many great albums to count. I love Pete Townsend, Punch Adultery, Keith Moon, John Entwistle. So that's my number 3, The Who. So let's do a quick score check here. So you're at 1 for 3.
yeah.
I'm at 0 for 2, going, I'm guessing you were third, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I already know I got it wrong because my third is the Staves. So I already got that wrong. But if I had to guess again, so what are you on number 3? I'm gonna give it a second guess. I'm gonna go with the Doors.
No.
Dang it.
You said it before.
I did?
You've mentioned it already.
I've mentioned, have I guessed it
Like
already?
you guessed mine, but it wasn't right.
Velvet Underground.
Yeah.
That's number 3. Dang, respect. I like them. I don't know.
It was off the playlist. You know, like I was just because it was.
Oh,
hard.
this is appropriate though because they're having that Spotify year-end rap
Yeah.
thing, which I saw
They
everyone
had
talking
like
about.
a playlist of like songs I've listened to throughout the year, and that's how I based my like list off.
Listen, I think you have a really strong list. So what was it? What was your number 5 again?
5 was the Staves, 4 was the Smashing Pumpkins, 3 Velvet Underground.
I think it's a really cool list. I think it's a very unique list. I think it's a very cool list.
Thanks.
One thing I have to call out Apple. Apple, do something like the Spotify rap because I have Apple Music. You have Spotify.
Yeah.
And I wish I could see like the statistics on what I listen to, but I don't think unless someone in the comments tells me I'm wrong and they do it, I just can't find it. But Apple Music does not have something where I can view the statistics on what I listen to that
I don't
year.
think it's accurate though.
It may not be, but I still would like to see the
Yeah,
absolute
it's interesting.
tomfoolery that
It's
comes up.
interesting to see like what they say.
Yeah, like I think it is cool.
They pick your they call it your song aura. You know, like your based off of the songs that you listen to, they kind of like guess your aura, like the mood of which your songs like.
People watching could probably guess my song.
My aura was confident and bold.
Mine's probably depressing.
Mine was like purple and orange color, so it's confident.
Psychedelic,
Anyway.
maybe. So now we're heading to my number 2, right? You have to guess my
Yeah.
number 2.
So I guessed your number 2 is the Doors.
It is the Doors.
Okay.
What more could be said about the Lizard King himself? Robbie Krieger, Ray Manzarek, John Densmore, Jim Morrison. I think they're one of the most iconic bands of all time. I don't think they get enough credit and respect as being a pop culture icon. I think they're more viewed as they were as the Dirty Doors, as a more rebellious group, but I think in pop culture they should be considered. Either Jim Morrison's one of my all-time favorite singers. Yeah, the Doors, number 2. So that makes you 2 for 4, and that makes me 0 for 3. And I have to guess your number 2. My number 2 is, I also guessed the Doors.
Yeah.
All right.
So we have the same number 2.
Hey, we have the same number 2. Yeah.
Nice.
You love the Doors, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, any album, song specific?
Well, I really like.
Or anything about the band in general?
Well, Ray Manzarek is sick on the keyboard, and we saw there was a movie. Well, at the movie theater they showed the concert. Which concert was it again?
Live at the Bowl in 1968.
They had that at the movie theater near our house, and
I got it on vinyl. This one.
I really like.
With the back.
I mean I've seen that concert on YouTube and stuff like that, but it was nice to see it in theaters. And I really appreciated because you could just.
And everyone's favorite album. The Soft Grave. Oh.
Ray Manzarek was just going off on the keyboard. And
Yeah,
it was
to
really
do that
entertaining.
for an entire concert,
Yeah.
and just he would hold the bass line and play
Yeah,
the actual keys on the song.
he really carried. I feel like he carried. I mean, they all were amazing. They're all.
And Robbie
amazing.
Krieger's one of the greatest guitarists of all time.
Uh-huh.
John Densmore was a really good drummer, really progressive. He inspired a lot of South American style drum beats to American music. which I think, and then you had top it Jim Morrison's voice and the songwriting. It just makes the perfect band that they need more credit for. Even though they're a big band, but they're so good.
Yeah.
So now I need to guess, or no, you need to guess my number one.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
wait, before we do, we need to do a score check again. So I'm 1 for 4, you're 2 for 4.
So at first, I'll tell you what I had, but I think I'm going to change it, obviously, because
Man, I know what she's going to change it to, too.
Well, I put The Who as your number one.
Respect. You know what? You're not far off. I almost had The Who at number 1.
Yeah, so I had that as your number one, but since that was your number 3, I think I'm going to change it to...
Final answer.
Why you say it like that?
Final answer? It's like Millionaire Show. Final answer? Confirm, submit?
Yeah.
Damn it. Yes, it is the Beatles.
It is.
Listen, to me, I was like, she knows, because first off, one simply does not leave the Beatles off this list.
Yeah, no.
You don't have,
it's got to be in there somewhere.
You don't have a the category and have the Beatles off it and then have 5 other bands which are better. You don't do that. So I'm like, she figured it out. Once you realize that the Who was number 3 and the Doors are number 2, she's like, the Beatles are gonna be number 1.
That was so those 3, like the Doors, the Beatles, and the Who. I didn't know. I was like, it's like I don't know how to rank them in his list.
I'll say this. And this is why I don't like. I mean, I do love ranking things 1 through 5, but the reason is that sometimes I hate it. The Doors could easily be number 1. Easily.
Yeah.
The Who could easily be number 1, and the Beatles could easily be number 1, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like all 3 of those are equal as far as influence on me and enjoyment by me. They're all equal, and it's just now I have to guess your number 1. Did you finish 3 for 5?
Yeah.
3 for 5. It's pretty good. You thought coming into this you were gonna do really bad.
Yeah, I really didn't know.
You thought,
I didn't know what to expect.
but then you 3 for 5. My guess is pretty obvious. I'm gonna go with the Beatles.
Yeah.
Like I said, I said it before. If you're doing this specific challenge or this ranking and the Beatles aren't on there, unless you totally just don't like them, tell us why you picked the Beatles.
I mean, I feel like, well, when I was younger, my guitar teacher was heavily influenced by George Harrison and the Beatles in general. And so we would always be learning Beatles songs. Like those were like some of the first songs I've ever learned. And I was just always inspired by them since I was younger. And I just feel like it hasn't gone away. I still enjoy their music today. So I just feel like they're obviously a great band and are a heavy influence to a lot of people.
Yeah, that's a good point. I always feel like the Beatles are always, like, everyone hears them when they're so young.
Yeah.
And then they just never get out of it. Like,
yeah.
you don't get out of the Beatles.
You don't get sick of it. Like, they're always going to be around it. They're going to age well. Like, they have aged well. Like,
yeah, they're very progressive, so they still, they play well in 2021.
Yeah.
And they have a deep discography.
And I feel like a lot of the bands and people that we listen to are influenced by the Beatles.
Yeah.
And like the Doors and stuff too, but like...
I remember a direct quote from my number 2, which was your number 2 too.
Yeah.
Right? The Doors was Jim Morrison claimed that he huddled up his bandmates and told them, we're going to be bigger than the Beatles. So to even have them as that adventure shows you how other iconic bands viewed them. I think they're the greatest band of all time. And the thing is they have such good solo careers that say you listen to all the Beatles albums, all the way up until Let It Be, right? And then you want more from these guys. Yeah. Then you can go with Paul McCartney and the Wings. You can go John and Yoko. You can go George Harrison solo stuff. You could even listen to Ringo solo stuff if you were that desperate for Beatles stuff. So there's just so much to digest as a Beatles fan. And it's really hard to not put them at number 1. And I could not imagine leaving off the list, let alone not put them at number 1.
Yeah.
But so I really enjoyed this. I definitely, this is like my favorite style of video to do, is where we're guessing each other's and ranking. I love ranking stuff. Ranking stuff is really fun.
It's hard to do though, but it's fun. And I like to see how we think.
Yeah, I think it's like taboo in the music industry to rank stuff, because it's all what John over here may hate, Sally over here may love. So it's really taboo to really rank stuff, but I enjoy it for some reason, because I notice I'm ranking it amongst my personal taste, and you're ranking it amongst your personal taste. But we definitely want to do this again. I'm definitely gonna look out for more challenges to do like this. So final score, you guessed 3 of 5, I guessed 2 of 5. So I lose. But the next challenge we do, maybe I'll win. Hopefully, we'll get back in the win column. But yeah. let us know if you enjoyed this style of video. I really do, and I would love to make more like this. Let us know what you're listening to, or let us know your opinions on the bands we chose.
Or like your top 5 of bands that start with
Yeah,
the.
throw in your top 5. This top. I think it's funny. Start with the.
Yeah, I don't know.
But yeah, thank you all again for watching, and you say it.
See you later.